Hello everyone, this is the guy that reads all your comments but doesn't have the time to reply to all of them, and welcome to this AFK journey video. So yes, I actually read all the comments that are left by you guys, and for today's video, right, we're gonna talk about magic charms, which I think a lot of people have been asking for. Why are you not covering magic charms for Dream Realm? Why do you not talk about magic charms when you're talking about the Dream Realm guide and stuff? I think the very reason why I don't talk about them is because there's actually a recommended charm setting. Like, every hero has a recommended charm, and I think most of them are relatively accurate. And at the same time, I did quite a few magic charms guide on the channel, but they are relatively not popular at all, like really low impression rate. So I think I'll post this and see the impressions. If you guys are interested in this, do remember to like, subscribe and share, obviously, to show me that, you know, there's like a demand for it. Because yeah, there are people asking for it, but the thing is, like, I've posted multiple magic charm guide and then like there's just not like no one actually viewing it, so I just assume that it's not interesting, and since there's a recommended copy, so I don't cover it, I don't talk about it. So there's that, right? But if you guys are interested, as usual, right, comment, like, subscribe, share with other people. So that's that way that I know, okay, this is a topic that you guys are interested in. Okay, so for today's video, I'm gonna cover like my best charm recommendations for my most commonly used Dream Realm characters. So obviously the usual carries on top. I will filter them groups by groups, as in like carry, support, tank, utility, and then run through the different charm combinations and why I use them for my most commonly used units. I won't be covering the likes of Talyn as well as Elsa, even though they are decently good Dream Realm characters, but as you guys can see, my tiers for them are really low, so I don't actually use them a lot and I'm not familiar, so I'm not gonna like recommend stuff which I'm not confident in speaking, or like I'm not like 100% sure whether or not they're the best. But for the units that I'm going to recommend, these are the builds I'm using, and I'm going to explain why I use them, why they are the best in terms of the Dream Realm side for the charm combinations, as well as why I use those charms in the first place. Okay, so without further ado, right, we'll start with the carries first. So the most commonly used carries in Dream Realm right now, at least by me, is Marilee, Kourin, Scarlita on certain bosses, Marilee, as well as Odie over here. So let's start with Marilee, which is the strongest carry right now. So Marilee's best combination, I'll say, is definitely Arcane Charm. Personally, Titanic Charm is pretty decent, but it's less consistent compared to Arcane Charm, because crit, I think, is something which is pretty RNG based. Like, if you get crit like all the time and you do like massive crit damage, then I think Titanic will be a lot better. But boosting skill and attack increases the damage output from ballet, right? So first of all, skill point increases two things. Number one, it increases ballet, so per strike 8%. She does 6 strikes, so if you're doing against the boss, that's 48% extra for one skill point. And if you do 3 skill point, that's 130+%, which is quite a massive increase in damage output on a single target, because most of the time when you're hitting the boss, the ballet itself actually hits like the boss all the time. So this 6 hit is the massive increase just by 3 skill point increase. That's why Arcane is super duper good on the boss itself. And on top of that, like, you also increase this max damage output from the Swallow's Flight, which increases the true damage output potential, as well as the cap of Marilee's attack on the hits itself. So this also effectively increases your overall damage output, and I think generally it's much more consistent compared to Titanic Charm, which is attack and crit. So yeah, if you crit, I think you might be able to do more, but then like you don't know whether or not you're critting all the time, and whether or not your crit damage is varying, because that's something which I think has a little bit of RNG to it. So I think both Titanic and Arcane is okay, so just use whatever you have the best. But I think the best combi or the full setup is Arcane Charm for the most consistency, right? Just flat attack increase as well as skill power buff to just put out as much damage consistently as possible. So that's for Marilee. Then next one, we go on to our dear Kourin. So for Kourin's case, right, I actually went for Glory Charm, because I use Kourin more as a shielder nowadays than a damage dealer, and I think attack speed is actually quite good for him to do more damage. Although some people might actually recommend Mythic Charm, right, for him to maximize his DPS. So I haven't been using Kourin as much, but I think if you want to use him as a main carry unit, I do think that this is like the best damage output, Mythic Charm, because this just gives you skill power as well as haste. Haste just gives him more attack speed as well as faster skill usage, and skill power increases the damage output from the skills itself, which is from the damage skills, right? So we have Sky Strike over here, so this increases the crit rate, although I think skill point is actually I'll say like not the most effective on Kourin, because the buff doesn't seem really big. Like this is 0.3%. Okay, crit damage increase by 0.3%. I guess it's okay, it's just not big enough, but the haste does make up for that DPS component as well. So you get like faster skill usage, better shielding, as well as damage output from Defiant Charge, as well as Sky Strike. But most of the time I use the attack speed, because for attack speed itself, it benefits the Vine Arm. So this because he gets this like true damage for 8 seconds, right? So this is 8 seconds where you kind of want to jam in as much hits as possible to do true damage. So I think attack speed is okay for him, but if you want like a more like, I'll say like general boost in damage output, Mythic Charm is fine. But personally, I'm using Glory Charm because 8% attack speed is a little bit better than 5 haste if you just want more hits in, because 1 haste is actually like 1% attack speed, 1% casting speed, as well as I think like 1% casting speed animation increase, that kind of thing. So generally haste provides more buffs across the different damage components, but attack speed will be more consistent on Kourin in my take. So that's why I went for Glory. But depends, because right now I haven't been using him a lot. So I'll say Mythic Charm probably gives the higher damage. Glory Charm is pretty decent on him as well. So that's for Kourin's case. As for the other buffs itself, Cheetah Charm is basically a downgrade for Mythic Charm, because HP percentage on the unit is just to increase survivability. I think one reason why my Kourin has Glory Charm is because I think previously when the boss was hitting a lot harder, right? I haven't been changing Kourin Charm because I haven't been using him a lot, but previously when the boss was hitting a lot harder, Kourin had to survive, so that 7.7% HP is quite useful. But now that the damage scaling for the boss has decreased and I haven't been using him for a bit, I do think that he doesn't need the additional HP to survive, so Mythic Charm should probably be the best combi for him. So that's the recommendation for me for Kourin right now. Next, we talk about Odie. So Odie, without a doubt, is definitely Gale Charm. Attack and attack speed. So attack speed is to just ramp up his third skill, the poison damage over time, right? So this is just for you to reach that max step as fast as possible. So subsequently, all your attack will have this like max damage output. So that's why attack speed is super duper good, and attack is just really consistent, right? So this unit is not like a big number unit, so I think crit is not as good, and that's why Titanic is not like the best. So Gale is the best. If not, I think Blast Charm is okay as well. I think Ultimate Strength increases your ultimate damage output. If not, right, Arcane Charm should also be okay. If you want me to sort of compare what's number 1 and 2, I think Gale Charm and Gale Charm is number 1, Arcane Charm full set is number 2, because having more skill power allows you to reach a higher peak for your second and third skill. It's just that the build up is a lot slower. So attack speed is the best because it builds up this Venom Surge the fastest, and then once you reach that max damage, that's where all these damage output like increases by quite a bit. So that's why Gale is what I recommend. But if you don't have Gale, then Arcane is okay because it increases the cap. So if you do manage to hit the cap of 20 with the additional skill point across the 3 different charms, you are getting upwards to 26 stacks, which increases the cap for this damage output, which also sort of increase the damage for this hero as well. So that's for all these recommended charm. Okay, so best is Gale. If not, Arcane is also okay. If you don't have any of this, then Blast will probably be the way to go, just to do damage from your ultimate itself. So next we go into the next unit, which is Scarlita. So for Scarlita, right, I have actually tried Reaper Charm as well. I think Reaper Charm is more PvP centric, so if you're using Scarlita as a PvP character, I think Reaper is the way to go, because execution actually affects PvP more than like Dream Realm specifically. And at the same time, I don't know why, I think it's something to do with Scarlita being able to do true damage. So being able to hit faster also increases the damage output of true damage. So haste, I guess, is the reason why she's able to scale more in terms of damage. And also because haste also allows her to use her skills, which does massive damage at times, like for example her ultimate as well as her third skill where she has that slam ability. So that way she probably hits hard from those skills itself. So that's why the haste is very useful. For the healing side, I think it's not that impactful, but like I've tried both Reaper and Healer. I even tried out my dear Arcane over here, but I just think that Healer just does the best for me, so I'm just sticking to Healer right now. Let me know if you have other interesting findings, like for example, against certain bosses you use Reaper, against certain bosses you use Healer. For me, I just use Healer across the board because I just think Haste is the most consistent damage boost for Scarlita in general, so that's why I guess Healer is the way to go, because the other charms don't offer any form of haste, so that's why this is the best for her personally. So with that, let us move on to the next carry, which is our dear Marilee. Okay, so Marilee's case, right, I actually think both combat and overloaded is fine, right? Crit gives you like more crit consistency, but crit damage boost gives you bigger number, so it just depends on like your RNG as well as luck. I think both are like pretty close in terms of what they do, but if you want me to recommend like the best, I guess combat charm is more consistent, because Marilee has a way to increase her crit damage, right? So she has a very consistent way to increase her crit damage really, so you want to crit more consistently with this increased crit damage boost, rather than increasing your crit damage boost and not doing the crit, then you don't get this boost at all. So that's why I think crit is more consistent on her. So for Marilee one, it's definitely between this one, right, between combat as well as overloaded. Other than that, if you need survival, glory is okay. So it's the same rationale as Kourin. The reason why Kourin was still holding Glory Charm was because I was using Kourin before the patch, but recently I think Kourin hasn't seen a lot of use, so I haven't changed out the charm set for Kourin. But for Marilee's case, now that you don't have much survival issue, then combat charm is the way to go for the best charm, and then followed by our dear overloaded charm. And then I think midi charm is also okay, because increase in skill power also gives you like more damage of the normal attacks, right? Mighty Arrow as well as your hyper focus. So generally I think all the three charms that I recommended works. And if your team has issues surviving, right, if your Marilee is not tanky enough like mine, and the bosses are hitting too hard, then just change out the like combat charm or whatever offensive charms I recommend for glory charm over here. So this will give you more HP and a balance of attack speeds for you to do damage while surviving better. So that's for the carries. Next, let's move on to the tanks or the frontliners that I use. So let's change out. So frontliner includes Thoran, includes this one, Phraesto, definitely commonly used frontliner. I think Shakir is also a decent like frontliner unit that I use a lot. I think that's that. Yeah, that's that. Okay, so I'm gonna put Reiner in. So I'm just gonna talk about Reiner together, because Reiner sends somebody in to become a frontliner. So for Thoran's best Dream Realm set, right, I actually run Insight Charm, because Thoran's skill is actually really strong from the HP absorb portion, so that's what I use. But I haven't been using Thoran as much as well, unfortunately, only maybe in Kruger, at least not on my main account. So I think it should be the best because it gives you this soul plunder ability, which increases the HP drain. So 3 point is a 4.5% increase, so you can drain up to 24.5% of the enemy's current HP. And then you have resurrection, which allows you to come back with more HP, so that's the increased skill point. But if you ask me right now, if I could survive better, I might actually give it to... Yeah, okay. The thing about Thoran is that generally his charms are defensive by nature, because this unit is more so as a tank. So to be really honest, Blast Charm also doesn't give you like much damage boost as well. Yeah, I don't think Blast Charm is the way to go. Yeah, plus 20% attack. I mean, if your Thoran is like doing damage off the ultimate, then Blast is okay. So I do think that for Thoran's case, the best is Insight, because like you just suck more HP from the enemies to do more damage to them, because all the other charms are like defensive by nature. If not, I guess healer charm is also okay. I haven't really tried healers myself, so I won't comment too much, but for Thoran's case, I think it's somewhere between healers and Insight. Yeah, because his charm in general is just really defensive, and even for the blast charm itself, the buff that it provides is, I would say, not that massive. Yeah, cause like I think Thoran is more used as a debuffer and like just sucking off HP from the enemies itself. So I think skill power boost alone should be sufficient to increase the damage output. So I will recommend between Insight Charm as well as Healer's Charm as well as Blast Charm. So just try them based on your own take. I just haven't been using Thoran a lot, so I would say it's between the three of them, right? Based on the current iteration, because previously when the boss was hitting a lot harder, I needed him to have more survival. So units that has the charm that buffs one offensive as well as one HP is quite important to me, but now I think it's less important because of the recent change. Yeah, so these three, okay, so that's for Thoran. Next, let's move on to our dear Temesia. So for Temesia's case, Temesia is only used in one boss, which is Necro Dragon right now, generally for me. So I just put Ruthless Charm on Temesia because crit increases the crit hit rate for this unit, and attack speed increases the damage output. Because for Temesia's case, right, Temesia's damage actually comes from, like, okay, I use Temesia for Necro Dragon. So recently, because there's a change, right, she doesn't need to survive, she doesn't need to tank as much, so I removed the HP component and then give her this attack speed boost. Because if you take a look at this damage output for her attack animation speed is not affected by her attack speed or haste. Each point of attack speed or haste increases her charge damage by 1%. So right, her main damage source comes from the charge as well as like her abilities itself, and obviously increasing crit as well as attack speed will boost her damage by quite a bit. So that's why this is the best for her. If not, I think Overloaded Charm as usual works as well, but the idea is the same, right? If you can't crit, having the crit damage boost is going to be relatively inconsistent because you're not like hitting that crit damage as much. So I would say it's between these two, but I personally prefer Ruthless Charm for the consistency for damage. So that's for Temesia. So next, we go into Phraesto. So Phraesto's case, Phraesto has no issue surviving, and with the recent change itself, I think the best Dream Realm charm for him would definitely be Titanic. Just raw damage from attack as well as crit, so 3 across the board, has been finding a lot of success for me. So this is probably one thing which you guys might want to use if you're running him specifically for Dream Realm side. So next we have Shakir. So same thing for Shakir. Shakir's recommended charm is actually Resolute Charm for him to transform ASAP and then use the ultimate strength buff. But I actually find more success using Mythic Charm because Haste just allows him to charge up the energy faster, more consistently, and use his skill faster and more. And then the skill power boost also provides an attack buff for the team, right? From the Wolf's Will once you have level 4. Bonus attack of each non-summon ally within Lupin Aura is increased by 7.5 plus 1%. So if you have 3 of those, it's 10.5 for all the allies within the aura itself, which is one of the reasons why you use Shakir in the first place. So that's why Wolves will get the buff. You get more damage off Shakir himself as well as the ally, and then you also get more damage from this skill because you're able to spam more with the increased haste, as well as just doing more raw damage from using this skill itself. So that's for this Shakir's build. For me, I'm using this Mythic Arcane. Okay, I do think that Ruthless is also okay because increased attack speed allows him to hit harder in the ultimate form to do more cleave damage as well. But I just find more success with Mythic than Ruthless. That's why I think Mythic is the better one. So that's for my own case. Okay, so that's for Shakir's Mythic Charm. Lastly, we go into Reiner. So for Reiner's case, okay, Reiner is a mixed bag because I haven't really focused too much on Reiner's charm. Reiner has this issue of surviving in some of the bosses and dealing damage. So I think if you have no issue surviving, right, I think 3 times Mythic is the way to go. And I haven't been farming Reiner's charm because I don't think if putting more damage on Reiner is gonna change out the numbers too much because like he's just not that significant in terms of dealing damage. His role is to do debuff and just like stick on the field and do a little bit more damage. So I think like, yeah, just if you can survive, then I think this is the best because haste allows him to use the ultimate, which is, I'll say, like a bigger part of the damage, as well as use his skill more consistently. And right, if you have any sort of ways to increase the attack or execution, I think it works for him as well. I think Reiner personally is not that like impactful in terms of like getting the DPS boost from the charm. So I guess Arcane is the best. And if you just want to squeeze in more damage and your Reiner can survive, then put in all the Reaper or the damage base. But if you want to survive better while having a balance, I think 3 times Shida Charm is the way to go for him because Reiner's primary issue is survival actually. Even with the boss nerf, I think Reiner still dies once you hit like the critical threshold of like 40 build damage. So that's where I think Cheetah Charms might work better for him in this kind of situation. So just change the charm based on your own setup and your damage cap. Okay, so that's for Reiner. Now let's run through like all the other like miscellaneous units which I run or like I use a lot. I actually know Smokey is not miscellaneous. Smokey is almost in every team. Pardon me for saying miscellaneous, but just like units which I think I do use from time to time, right? Depending on the boss as well as the situation, as well as like recommendations. Maybe if you guys are planning to use those units right now, or just generally these are good. I'll say like Dream Realm characters. Yeah. Okay, I think Lucius is okay. So I'll just include Lucius in the list. I think Lucius should be a frontliner, but fine, I just include Lucius here as a support. So for Smokey's case, I think Smokey's case is definitely this one. Yeah, heal and skill power. So if you're running Smokey as a solo support, the heal just make sure that your whole team survives the full duration. So this is where if you're running him as a solo support, and then the skill power gives you more attack boost from the energizing formula, which is what Smokey do, buffing the team. So more heal as well as more attack buff for the team to do more damage. So Smokey does a lot of damage on his own as well. So I used to do this balance charm on him when the bosses were hitting really hard. So balance charm allow him to survive better with that 22.1% additional HP. So that's why I was using balance charm. But I think, like I mentioned earlier, recently the mechanics has changed, so the boss's scaling is a lot lower, so you can actually sacrifice that HP to give yourself more heal, to heal up, to increase your survival, as well as have more buff on the skill power itself. Yeah, because ultimate strength is not good on Smokey because it increases the heal number, and then why not just increase the heal number by giving him more heal stats, like using this charm over here. So that's why we use this one for now. And I think some people might also use Insight Charm if you have issues surviving, because this one gives you HP, so more buff as well as more survival on Smokey himself. So just change out based on what you really need. But I think the best should be recovering for most people if your team can survive, and you just need the additional heal power to keep the sustain going for the team on Smokey. So that's why recovering is the best. And we go on to Ludovic again. Okay, Ludovic is exact opposite. I go for a full offense for Ludovic because like I think when I'm using Ludovic or in the teams that I'm running Ludovic, I actually have Smokey in the team. So if I have Smokey and Ludovic together, I think the sustain is basically no issue. So I don't need additional heals on Ludovic. So that's why I'm not using Wizard Charm or this healer charm on him, because like I think I don't need the additional heals because I have enough with like 2 healers in the team. And right, haste and attack. Okay, haste allows you to cast your ultimate faster, which is also more heal, and haste allows you to reposition your skill, and attack percentage gives you more flat attack percentage for you to do more damage off the skills itself. So like Ludovic is not just a healer, he's also like a semi damage dealer. So increase in attack, right, increases your damage from this one, right? Because this one, this skill over here, this skill is based off a part of Ludovic's attack. So increase your attack increases the damage cap from Eternal Serenity, and then increase in haste allows you to use Life Weaver's Bloom, use Eternal Serenity, the ultimate, as well as Adderall Bloom more consistently, which are all the different damage sources from Ludovic. So for Ludovic, I would say that's definitely the best combination, okay, for Dream Realm purposes. Unless you're using Ludovic as your solo healer, as your solo support, then you might want to use Healer's Charm so that you have enough heal while doing stuff with the increased haste itself. So that's for Ludovic. Kruger, okay, Kruger I use a Cheetah Charm. Okay, Cheetah Charm for haste to get the ultimate out as fast as possible, because Kruger is mostly used as a debuffer. If I do use Kruger, it's for the defense reduction from the ultimate. So getting the haste to get the ultimate out as fast as possible for it to stick on the boss is the way I choose to build my Kruger. So that's for Kruger's Cheetah Charm. If you want to build him raw damage, I think Titanic is okay as well as usual. So that's for Kruger's recommended charm, or my best charm. And then for Mikola, the recent character addition, the best one is Arcane for sure, 100%, because attack percentage allows her to charge up her ultimate faster, as well as get the heals going from the Courage Sphere. And also the skill power gives you more buffing power similar to Smokey. So that's the reason why we are using Mikola right? More buffing power here, more healing power here as well. So that's why Mikola is using the Arcane Charm. Best setup for her right now. And I guess that's pretty much it. These are all the common heroes I use for my Dream Realm runs. Oh wait, I forgot one more. Lucius. Okay, for Lucius' case, I think Lucius' kit in general is really defensive. Depends on how you want to build him. But right, I haven't been using Lucius a lot, but I think the best should still be full arcane to give you like more heals and shielding. Because Lucius' kit doesn't actually do more damage even if you have more haste. Yeah, it's all like additional block, additional shielding, maybe the ultimate for more shielding. So I guess haste might not be like the best for him. Okay, maybe not. Let me just recorrect it. Okay, I think maybe you can try Arcane for him, but I have been just equipping him with the haste one, right? The wizard charm, just to maximize the healing and shielding that he does. So if you are using him as your only, I'll say like only support tanker thing, then you're just using him for the seasonal skill buff itself, then I think this healing build is fine for him, because that way like you don't have to run like 2 healers or support in the team, for example, right? If you don't have Smokey or anything. So that's my recommendation for Lucius. Not that commonly used nowadays, so I don't actually know the exact like strongest one. Could be between Arcane Charm as well as, yeah, could be between Arcane Charm. I don't think haste actually increased the DPS, but haste does increase the, yeah, haste does increase the shielding as well. So maybe yeah, if it, I'll say it's between Mythic as well as Wizard for like this increased sustain from Lucius itself. So that's for the magic charm for my most commonly used characters. That's pretty much it for this video. Just a general coverage of the magic charm for all the commonly used PvE characters on my side, or specifically the Dream Realm characters. Let me know down in the comment section below as usual what you want to see for the next video, and I'm reading all your comments, right? Thank you very much for watching. See you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.